there's no need for you to be that way, to reject your dad. I want to be with you. I want to, have some sort of relationship. Life is too short. So. When I was 15 years old, my friend and I, when we traveled down, we went all the way down to Peru. And we were hitchhiking along the highway, the Pacific Coast Highway in Peru. And at the time we knew very little Spanish, and there wasn't a lot of English. And then we found this one guy that said, that started going hitchhiking with us, and he spoke pretty good English. And he says, "Oh, I know where some Americans are, down in Lima. They have a mission in Lima. If you want to go talk to them." And so I go, "Yeah, sure." So when we got to Lima, he introduced us to them, and we found out that they were Americans. They went down this on a mission trip, and they were like kind of evangelical Christians, and so they were like kind of preaching to us about the gospel and things like that. And so we were like, wow, we never heard this stuff before, but we were interested. And they said, "Oh, would you like to go into the Amazon? And we have a mission camp there that we live with the natives, and we learn the languages, and then we write the Bible into the language. And we have, it's a base where all the Americans live." And, "Oh yeah, we'd love to go there." So, "All right, you can go." So they sent us on this, this truck that they were delivering furniture from Lima and all the way into the jungles. And it was like 3 days of crossing the Andes Mountains. It was like incredible journey. And these two guys that we were driver, they didn't speak English, we didn't speak Spanish. And things started getting bad. They were accusing me of stealing their license because he couldn't find his license. And then, we were messing around with them in the cabin, and then they ended up kicking us back out we had to go in the back of the truck where all the furniture was, because they didn't want us staying in the cab. And so we were like, wow, what are we gonna do like in 2 days in the back of this? So we were like sitting on their furniture and stuff. So when we finally get to this mission camp, we get there and the guys say, "Oh, these two gringos were giving us a hard time, and they're no good." So, here we were looking, at a Christian missionary camp, looking, to understand more what this is all about. And then the director of the camp comes out and says, "Oh, you guys are really, I heard you giving the truck drivers a bad time, so we're sending you back to Lima. You get on the next bus back." I go, "What? We just traveled 3 days here. We didn't do anything. They kicked us back." And so we were completely disappointed, man, well, this is crazy. And then, this one lady comes out and sees us, that's 15 years old. And my friend 7, "Oh, you guys want breakfast?" "We didn't eat anything." And he's, "Oh, okay." And she was so nice and sweet. "Oh, I'll talk to the director, see if you can stay." And then, she comes back, "No, you guys, I tried, you got to go." But so we ended up taking a bus all the way back to Lima. And it's like a long journey. And so when we get back, we meet those Americans again. We tell them what happened and stuff. And I should have said, "Look, I didn't want nothing to do with you guys. How do you treat, But I was like, okay, maybe there's something in this, this whole experience that I can learn from. And so, we went back to the United States and went back to school and stuff like that. And so that's when my life kind of changed, that, I kind of became more in like a Christian viewpoint and stuff. And I lived the rest of my life in that sense. And so, that was a turning point for me, and to say that I could have rejected this message, but I didn't. I said, well, it was just these two guys, the bed and a director. So, I really started talking to my brothers and saying, hey, this is the message that we want to give to, that, God forgives us and all this stuff. And so I lived most of my life like that, and going to church and all that. But then, like maybe 10 years ago, I started like reading, I started investigating, and like this stuff doesn't really make a lot of sense, you know. And I lived my whole life, you know, believing certain things, and I said this just doesn't make sense to me, and so I raised my kids and my family in this situation, you know, and growing up in a church. And it's ironic that now my oldest, well, my son is very involved in the church. He plays guitar and is the music director. And he's like totally rejects me because I left the church. And he doesn't like want to have anything to do with me. He doesn't want to talk to me. And yet, you know, I raised him in this church and I left. And a lot of my other, you know, children kind of accepted and stuff like that. But almost all my surroundings were around the church, the friends and stuff like that. So it's kind of, you know, so now I don't like talking too much about it with them because they kind of get upset, like, wow, well, you didn't really, you know, did you really believe, well, you really believe this stuff? I go, sure I did. I was sincere and everything, but I just don't see it now. And so I'm glad that happened to me because I'm glad that I feel I'm free in the stuff. I can think what I want. I don't have to listen to what other people say. So it kind of all started, you know, back when I was 15, I went to South America and met these missionaries and changed my life. And the thing was, now, if I had to go back in time and talk to me at that time, I would say, you know, Brian, what these guys are telling you, how do they know that? You know, what kind of claims are they making? They're making these extraordinary claims, you know, they're talking about these miracles. How do they know these miracles happen? How do they know, you know, who actually wrote, you know, these scriptures? Who did all this? You know, these are the questions nobody really asks, you know, you just kind of accept it. And so my whole life kind of changed that way, which kind of was good because it kind of maybe kept me out of trouble. You know, my older brothers, you know, they're doing a lot of, you know, in that age, you know, getting involved smoking weed a lot and, you know, things like that. So as a Christian then, I said, nah, I can't do any more drugs. I can't. And so it kept me straight, but also it limited my thinking. And so I would go back and tell myself, you know, you can question these people, but you know, that doesn't mean you can live wild. That doesn't mean you can do anything you want to do. You still have to respect other people, their lives. You got to keep your health. You know, you got to, you know, be good in all things. And so I'm happy that, you know, those things happened. Sure, you know, I would tell my son, you know, I made mistakes in life and stuff, and you know, because we went through a divorce with his mom and all that, so he, you know, he felt that's like a really big sin, divorce and stuff, and so, you know, I loved him tremendously growing up. I loved being with him, doing things with my son, and so, you know, if I try to contact him when I go back to the U.S., but he just doesn't want to talk to me. Now he has a small grandson that he won't let me see, and so, you know, I wrote him a message, you know, before, hey, I'm going back to Colombia now. I hope we can talk before I go. I want to say I'm sorry, but you know, it's so much, you know, I can do. I just have to accept it and then move on. It's sad, and you know, it's kind of heartbreaking to know that you can't have a relationship with his son. But you know, I don't understand. You know, like if I had to talk to him, I would say, you know, you believe in God, you believe God can forgive us, and so there's no need for you to to be that way, to, you know, to reject your dad. You know, I want to be with you. I want to, you know, have some sort of relationship. You know, life is too short. So, you know, I hope maybe someday it is, but if it isn't, you know, I got to live with that.